This is the new one, though. This is the new one today.
The Justice Department has now released a big new batch of documents in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. And these include new details about Epstein's one-time friendship with President Trump. Look, there is a lot to go through. We said it's like more than 10,000 pages. So we are digging through this. But this is what is seen so far. In a 2020 email, an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York wrote that Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet, quote, more times than previously has been reported, at least 8 times.
It's undeniable that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were close friends. Anybody suggesting otherwise is lying to you. They're lying to you because they like Trump. It's obvious that's the case. Now, that's not an indictment of Trump. It doesn't mean Trump is somehow guilty. But it means that they knew each other.
1993
to suggest otherwise is lying.
And on a flight in 1993,
what are we
according
doing?
to the email, there was just
it's pretty
3
obvious.
Passengers: Trump, Epstein, and what's described as a 20-year-old woman. Being mentioned in a trove of investigatory documents does not demonstrate criminal wrongdoing, a reminder.
True.
And Trump has not been accused of being involved in Epstein's crimes. On Monday, the president did seem dismayed that the release of any and all of these files, though, could harm the reputations of individuals he said, quote, innocently met Epstein. Now, remember, I
think that's accurate. I mean, that's true. That's totally fair for him to say that and think that.
Man, they also signed into law last month a measure requiring the Justice Department to do just this, release the files.
I mean, I think that's removing context, personally. It's very obvious that he got pressured into doing it because literally everybody in Congress and the Senate wanted to do this. I mean, he basically had to sign it.
A lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin the reputation of somebody.
Too bad.
As we speak, CNN has a team working through the documents just released. We are going to bring you the findings as they come in. CNN's Caitlin Polans is live in Washington this morning. A lot to work through, and we're just getting started. Caitlin, what do you have so far?
We're just getting started, but the headline here is quite clear. Donald Trump is all over these documents. In that first trove that the Justice Department released on Friday, there were just a few very scant mentions of Trump, including in a picture collected with a bunch of other pictures. In this one, there is already one very illuminating email that was sent during the first presidency of Donald Trump while prosecutors in the Southern District of New York were working on the case against Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. This is after Epstein's death. And one of those prosecutors writes, I'm going to read from this letter because it is what was new to the prosecutors at the time and what is new to us now, receiving these documents now in the public sphere from the Justice Department. The prosecutor, unnamed, an assistant U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York, wrote on January 8th of 2020, the flight records we received yesterday reflect that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported or that we were aware. That's the Justice Department in 2020.
So that's what they said. So this isn't even like a... this isn't like some random anonymous tip that sent them this. This is the Justice Department themselves saying this. And also, again, this is not and this is the Justice Department. Maybe it was somebody who was trying to make him look bad. There could be other reasons, too, for it. But at the end of the day, I think that it looks pretty fucking bad, right? I mean, come on.
Including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case.
It's an internal document.
On one flight in 1993, Donald Trump and Epstein are the only 2 passengers listed. On another, the only 3 passengers are Epstein, Trump, and a...
It's not a good look, but there's nothing to it. It's certainly not a good look. And also, like, here's the problem, and I will go back to the list, is that is it easy to believe that a guy that's made weird comments about his own daughter when she was underage, and also people said that he walked into some teen beauty pageant, like dressing room or something like that as well, and he's also made tons of weird comments towards women overall, you're building people a bridge with these comments. You are. Don't make the assumptions. Oh, you don't want me to make the assumption. Okay, I won't make the assumption. Everybody else is going to make the assumption. Do you know why? Because if it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, and it looks like a duck, yeah, maybe it's not a duck. But a lot of people are going to think it is. Be realistic, man. Come on. What are we doing?
And 20-year-old on two other flights. Two of the passengers, respectively, were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. And then the assistant U.S. attorney concludes this email by telling his or her supervisors or superiors in the Justice Department didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. That's a direct quote. Now, Donald Trump...
Which I think that's very fair, right? I mean, of course, I don't think anybody expected Donald Trump not to be in the Epstein files. Like, he obviously was. It's about to what extent and in what way.
He has not commented yet on this particular revelation in the Epstein files coming out overnight and this morning that we are now surfacing for you here. But Donald Trump has downplayed his relationship with Epstein in the past. And of course, this is something that is documenting his connection to Epstein traveling on that private plane in the 90s. So many years ago, Kate. But Trump even yesterday was saying that everyone was friendly with Epstein. He was all over Palm Beach. And Ghislaine Maxwell, this past year, has said in an interview with the Justice Department talking about Trump that she never saw him do anything that wasn't gentlemanly.
I'm going to be honest, like, this shit makes me so mad. It does. And the reason why is because there's a lot of reasons why this makes me really mad. And it's actually not because... Like, yeah, it's because people got hurt, right? Okay, like, it is. It matters. Like, yeah, of course. But it's a lot bigger than that for me. It's, like, infinitely bigger than that. Because, like, yes, there's, like, 1,200 victims and it's horrible. But there are millions of people in America. Every single one of us. And this also, keep in mind, this is a worldwide conspiracy. You saw Prince Andrew involved in this. That prime minister from Israel was involved in this. This is a worldwide bit of fucking bullshit, right? So what's happened is that all of, like, our entire government and the entire fucking apparatus of government, the power structure, is completely fucking corrupted. Massively fucking corrupted, massive fucking conspiracy. I can't believe this. Well, actually, I can easily believe this. I can instantly believe this. I'm very annoyed that this is the case, okay? In my opinion, I think that this is a great opportunity to bring back crucifixions. I'm going to say it. I think anybody that's found to be, guilty for any of these crimes, I think this is the time that we do it. I do. And I think I would recommend everybody around the world to do this. I think this is the right thing to do because we have had such a massive, and this is an issue, all right, I'm going to go off for like 5 minutes on this probably. So, all around the fucking world, there are protests of young people who are fucking mad, whether it's Indonesia, China to a very small extent, and even that is massive. And people in South America, people in Europe, people in America, people in, the fucking random, Serbia, people in every one of these countries. All of these people have been Nepal, Canada, Korea, right? Everywhere. Russia, even Canada, Australia, Argentina, where you have these fucking geriatric parasites that have been living off of the government, fucking raping girls, being corrupt as fuck, taking all the money, not sharing anything, and then doing all this and acting like, oh, wow, well, we're doing it for you. I'm so fucking tired of this. I'm going to be honest. I think that worldwide, people need to just stand up, find these fucking people, and listen, by a diplomatic and a legal reason, crucify them. That's what I think should happen. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. This is insane. It's crazy. Good save. I know. Legally. This is legally, right? Change the law, do this. Exactly. Yes, this is legally. Because Hassan was kind of right. I do kind of do this. And also, like, I do believe in violent solutions to problems, but I just think that they should be arrived at by the state. But I think the state should do this. I do. And so, basically, something needs to happen to these people that is so severe, so extreme, that it will be in the history books. And if it doesn't, this is just going to keep happening. I'm so tired of this. I am so tired of this. This is unbelievable. They will only clip this part? Of course. Of course they will. That'll give me content for tomorrow. And so, too generous. I am a very generous collective global... and you see my point, right? Is that there is like a global rot of seemingly every single government that is being co-opted by these old, again, geriatric parasites that are sitting around and just basically stealing everybody's shit. It's awful. Like, it's a virus. Yes, I hate this. Can we merge burning at the stake with crucifixion? I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways you could do it, but I think that the way that we have to Old Testament this, we have to do it. And the sad thing is that I think it'll take probably 25 to 30 years, maybe a little bit less than that, for people to finally come around and realize that that's what has to happen. I think it'll take a lot long. I think that I'm ahead of the curve on this. A lot of people, and here's the reason why. A lot of people live in such a safe, peaceful environment that they don't even realize that danger exists. And because of that, they've been lulled into this false sense of security. They're addicted to porn and Funko Pops. They've got 17 different streaming service subscriptions, and they work some shitty job, and all they do is eat fast food, and they're fat. And so these people are they're basically lulled into a state of just like non-existence, basically. They're like fucking catatonic, like just masses of flesh. They don't have any opinions. They don't think for themselves. They're not worried about anything. They're just like basically a fucking piece of meat. That's it. And so, no, I'm being serious. Like, this is it. And you want to tell me, oh, it's not true? Yeah, it is. It's true. Everybody knows it, okay? So Trump is a sinking ship. It's not about Trump. That's my point, right? Yes, obviously, I think Trump is fucked up with this. He's massively fucked up. It's true. Obviously, we all know that. I've said that 50 times. But this is a universal, worldwide problem. That's it. And eventually, people have to talk about this. There has to be some level of accountability. They forgot about violence and how fast a life can be lost? Yes, you describe yourself? Absolutely not. I complain about things on the internet all day.
Impropriety at all. That said, this is a document that shows the possibility of Donald Trump having an intersection with Ghislaine Maxwell and the criminal case against her in which she was convicted for sex trafficking of minors. Clearly, this did not come out in the trial, but it is a pretty revelatory document. And Kate, it's just one page right now. This is the one page that I've walked you through. There are many, many more documents that we are piecing through this morning to see what else may be news here. But Donald Trump is in the latest batch of the Epstein files.
Well, no shit. Again.
Much more to come.
Like, this is, I mean, again, I don't know why, like, how is it that you have so many, how is it that you have so much information, but CNN has to rely on these weird implications? Just show the files and say what happened, rather than go and do like this, like, oh, well, this is when they said this. I hate these fucking, oh my God.
Caitlin's laying out very clearly.
Yes.
Caitlin, thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it. Sarah.
All right, joining me now is Sarah Kristoff, a former U.S. prosecutor for the Southern District of New York. Thank you for being here. Look, the DOJ has said they are releasing these documents more slowly because they are concerned about exposing victims. But in some of the emails that were released Monday afternoon, by Monday evening, some of those documents were taken down We now know a victim's name who wished to remain anonymous was not redacted. We also know President Trump's name, as you heard there from Caitlin, appears in several places in the latest dump. This is the second time they've released documents only to remove them again. From what you have seen so far, is this just sloppy work from the DOJ, or do you see this as being more calculated?
I think it's both. Because if it was calculated and it was done by somebody who was good, they would have never been. There would have never been these weird inconsistencies. Like, do you really think that Israel would have fucked this up? Absolutely not. You think China would have fucked this up? 100% not. But if you give this to a bunch of dumb fuck American federal government workers, well, they fuck it up. That's what happened.
So it is a hard job to redact these documents appropriately.
Sure.
The law sets sort of categories of material that could be redacted. The DOJ has to go through these very carefully, make calls about, really page by page about what needs to be redacted or not. But they have all of the resources in the world to do that. I mean, they have thousands of lawyers, top lawyers, who could be working on these documents, following a protocol and making decisions. So, I mean, they certainly should be moving quicker than they are, and we shouldn't really be seeing mistakes, particularly mistakes regarding victims' names. But,
Yeah, it's an insane fuck up to have that happen. And the fact that they weren't able to do this, because, I mean, really, they released, 100,000 pages, something like that. And they said they had over 1,000 people working on this. So let me get this straight. They couldn't, in 1 month, figure out how to do 100 pages on average each. That's like 3 pages a day. I mean, really, think about that. That's insane. How are you that bad at your job? Oh my God.
This is a human process and a very laborious, time-intensive process.
And as we go through these, of course, other organizations going through these, the Washington Post saying that the latest tranche of Epstein documents, there was a subpoena sent to Mar-a-Lago in 2021 for records related to the government's case against Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you glean from that?
Yeah, I mean, some of the juiciest stuff really is going to be in internal DOJ emails, right? That's where...
That's probably true, because that's whenever they're going to talk about what's just established and known. That's a good point.
Are talking about the case. That's where they're sort of hashing out the evidence that they're seeing. So we're going to see some good stuff in there, as we already talked about this morning. The other place I think you're going to see really interesting material is in FBI reports, 302 reports, to the extent those are released in unredacted form or partially redacted form, because that's really going to set out the nature of the investigation and the things that were, the steps that were taken.
Just how inefficient our government is? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
You just mentioned this. There were a large number of documents showing.
Well, it's actually very
believable,
but
the
still.
objections filed by Epstein's victims in 2008 after the U.S. attorney in Miami agreed his office would not prosecute Epstein on federal charges in exchange for Epstein to plead guilty to less serious state charges of soliciting prostitution from a minor. What will these documents expose? What will people see in these documents as they're looking at, what happened there in Miami that a lot of victims are very, very upset with?
Yeah, I mean, the course of events here in terms of sort of the Florida prosecution or lack of prosecution and then the subsequent prosecution in the SDNY was sort of very complicated. And we're going to see more details uncovering that, more details about why decisions were made, why charges were brought or not brought. And that, I think, is going to be very illuminating about whether there was sort of political pressure or external forces on decisions that were made internally in these prosecutorial bodies.
There is a lot to go through, and as you said, this is an unprecedented amount of information having to come out of the DOJ, but the law says it was supposed to be out altogether, and now it's coming out in more of a trickle. Sarah Krisoff, thank you so much. I'm sure you will be back.
I wonder what their logic is too about this, is because I feel like the releasing it in a slow drip actually makes it worse. It's like you're bleeding somebody out rather than just simply, decapitating them. Because whenever you release everything at a slow drip, it gives people time to, like, hyper investigate a very small group of things. And that's the point. I mean, it is the point, but like, it also, like, it doesn't make sense that it seems to me like they're trying to hide things. And the reason why is just very simply because the people that are the government officials have lied about the story. They've lied and misrepresented what the story is. They've said multiple times that there were no files, and now they're releasing hundreds of thousands of files. So how does something like this happen? And so really, they're just making shit up. So if your goal is to try to hide it, then why would you release it in this way? The media likes slow drips? Yeah.
See more of these documents. Appreciate it.
Jess Michaels is the lead writer of a new statement from Epstein survivors. The statement raises multiple concerns about the way the release of files has been handled. She explained to CNN that no one from the Justice Department reached out to survivors for their input.
Because they're retarded.
What we're seeing is just an incredibly sloppy and inconsistent and thoughtless process that has been done.
That's why it's the government.
Names or leaving things haphazardly unredacted. I felt very strongly that this was a clear-cut, black and white moment.
Yeah.
Friday, December 19th at 11:59. If all of the files had not been released publicly, this DOJ had broken the law.
It's undeniable that they did. It's undeniable. And there should be accountability for it because they did it wrong.
It took an act of Congress to pass and that the president signed. And to me, that is a point we need to keep talking about. We want to see financial records. We want to see all of the long list of indictments for Jeffrey Epstein back in that sweetheart deal, the Alex Acosta deal. We want to see all of that paperwork because it proves the negligence that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I think that's generally what's happened, right? It's often to drown out other news. You're right when you said the Epstein saga has become an international issue. I'm waiting for a huge Barack's us to get exposed. We have our own reasons to hate him. Yeah, I feel like that's not a surprise at all, of course. There's a new FBI document that heavily implicates Trump. Yeah, I saw that. This letter got released today. I woke up in the morning and I was reading this. So, asked about his time driving a limousine for 2 years, Dallas-Fort Worth area. During Blank's time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. He noticed that he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. Reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride on his cell phone, very concerning. He reported that he was a few seconds away from pulling over the limousine in a median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurling him due to some of the things that he was saying, as caller chose not to do. Noted Trump consciously stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone and made references to abusing some girl. Blank was unsure who he was talking to, nor did he know who he was referencing. As Blank talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, redacted, I guess I can say redacted. I'd rather say redacted. It immediately redacted's demeanor went stone cold as redacted stated, "He raped me." Said what? Replied, Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein, noted some girl with a funny name, took me into a fancy hotel or building. That's how it happened. So that's fake as fuck? It could be fake. It absolutely could be fake, guys. You're right. It could be fake. But you know what you do? You investigate it. Excuse me, not investigated. And you figure out whether it's fake or not. That's what you do. It's real until proven fake? No. It's fake until proven real. Like, whenever somebody accuses the president of rape, then I think that you should... the only people that are going to automatically be like, I knew it, are people that just don't like Donald Trump. And that's fine. You don't have to like Donald Trump. But whenever you don't like him, and then you just instantly believe a random person, then you're not really doing yourself any favors. I mean, let's be honest with what the FBI... Yeah, I think they should investigate. That's not how it works in mainstream media. Yeah, of course, he wasn't the president in 1995. What do you mean? I mean, I think if he wasn't the president, that doesn't matter. I mean, if you rape somebody, then I think you still should go to jail, right? I mean, like, what are we talking about making excuses? Do you really trust this dumb FBI can do that? No. Nope. I don't think they can do it. They can't even figure out how to get these files together. You're right. No, I think that's a great point, that how can you possibly trust them to do this when they fucked up everything else? That is a great point, and I think that it's probably true to an extent. It's a long time since past. Yeah, I know. But I would try to do my best, right, to figure out whether it's true or not. I mean, I would at least try to investigate it. And maybe you can't come to a conclusion, but you can at least have some information and try to figure out what happened to the best extent that you can. You're confusing them trying to cover up with them being idiots. Here's the problem, is that sometimes them being idiots looks like them trying to cover things up. And sometimes you figure out that they're covering things up because they're such idiots, because they're bad at covering it up. Pick your fucking poison. Really? It seems pretty bad, guys. It seems really bad. Bill Clinton's busted. Why are we not talking about it? Well, Bill Clinton isn't busted. I mean, there's nothing that definitively proves Bill Clinton did something wrong in the Epstein files so far. I know everybody wants to talk about that, but there's nothing that definitively proves that. Like, there's if you put he tweeted out, oh, well, he tweeted? Okay, well, then there we go. I guess now we know for sure. But if there's no personal interest converging, then I don't think that it's incompetence. I don't know. Well, anyway, advise to call the police to the incident. I can't. They will kill me. On Christmas Day, they contacted saying that, in fact, they had called the police about what had happened. She had done good, and to not hear from them when they reached out stating that this person was dead. What the fuck? So the girl that said this is dead with her head blown off. Officers on the scene stated there was no way it was a suicide. Coroner stated that it was a suicide. Later stated the person committed suicide because the person had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the murder is a cover-up for Ghislaine. Sorry. Remember, we're just going to call her that from now on. Yeah, sure, we believe that. No way. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. It's impossible to know. Like, but don't you guys see how people have very selective thinking? Is that the coroner said that it was a suicide, but the cops said it wasn't. So if you think that Trump is guilty, you're going to assume that the coroner is wrong and the cops are right. And if you like Trump, you have people saying that the cops are wrong, they're not the experts, the coroner is the expert, and they said it was a suicide. So really, I think that this is just, again, there are a lot of like very confusing points on the graph here, and it needs to be investigated, right? It does. It needs to be investigated one way or another. It's going to be impossible to prove? Yeah, I think so. I can't report it. They'll kill me is what every crazy Alex Jones caller says. Yeah, there's plenty of people that say that. And just because a crazy person is saying something doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, but it does mean that it should be investigated, right? It's an anonymous tip called into the FBI by someone who's clearly mentally ill, which contains hearsay spewed by someone with a clear mental illness. Yeah, I think that's definitely probably true. But again, it still should be investigated. They should look into this, right? Specific claims are not legitimate and debunked. No corroboration exists. No limo driver testimony. No Oklahoma death matching the description. No mention in the Epstein files. So the victim committed suicide in January 2000. It's very, very hard to say. How do we know it hasn't been investigated? Well, we should ask, and I think that they should give more answers. The problem is that they release a lot of this stuff, and they're not very forthcoming about what's going on. Oh, this is it here. One of the documents in the second batch of Epstein files is a handwritten letter from fellow sex offender Larry. Oh, this is the one they said is fake, right? Yeah, big surprise. And the FBI has confirmed this is fake. Yep, there we go again. Everybody think it's fake. Tough look for a federal agency to be doing damage control in the comments of the Wall Street Journal. Prove it's fake. Everything you've mentioned is circumstantial. I mean, you can't prove a negative. Realistically, you can't do that. Kind of convenient how everyone is committing suicide. I mean, I think that there's also, like, I hate to... The problem with talking about this is that sometimes when I talk about this, I feel like it sounds like I'm defending it. And I'm really not. I'm just trying to explain why things could happen. The fact is that a lot of these people that think that they're being tracked by the government, they think that they're being harassed and all of this stuff, these people are mentally unwell. They're mentally unwell people. And who kills themselves? People that are mentally unwell. And so when I hear that or I see it, well, it's not a surprise to me at all. Of course they killed themselves because they're nuts. Like, that's just what happens. It's true. And so aren't we tracked? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're schizos. So whenever you look at a group of people that are self-selected by being so fucking insane, they're sending tips to the FBI about all of these people and like some rape conspiracy. Yeah, you shouldn't go and just listen to that and say, okay, well, we should listen to this. But it's like taking a guy under a bridge and being like, okay, tell me who controls the world, right? Or is the earth flat or not? You shouldn't be listening to these people and take what they're saying verbatim. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't investigate their claims, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't actually trust to a degree that they are at least telling what they believe to be the truth. But just because somebody thinks something is true doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. They're out of their fucking mind. And so that's all I'm saying, right? This is a very reasonable and very common sense perspective to have. And I don't know why other people don't see it that way. But yeah, it does look, I'm going to be honest, it looks really, really, really bad whenever the FBI and the Department of Justice are running defense for these things. They should let the public make up their own mind about it, and they should let people investigate it and see it for themselves. Because whenever you're constantly trying to debunk everything and, you know, like all the stuff like going in like all these like news publications, etc., it looks very, very bad. Because the reason why it looks that bad is because it seems that they're running defense in order to create a specific narrative. That's the reason why I think people don't trust them. Over-explaining always looks bad. Sometimes it does, and today it definitely does. That's what I would say.